If you're thinking about becoming an accountant, one of the big decisions you have to make is which route to take. In practice, there's audit, advisory, accounts, tax, or should you just skip practice entirely and go straight into industry as a management accountant? Today, I'm going to give you an overview of each of the different paths. We'll cover what the role looks like, who it's best suited for, and how to decide which one is right for you. If you're new to the channel, my name's Callum. I'm a chartered accountant here in London, UK, and I make videos for new and aspiring accountants wanting to level up their skills and future-proof their career. So if that sounds of interest to you, be sure to subscribe and we'll dive right into the video. Let's start by talking about an accounting practice. Whether that's the Big Four or your small local firm, the functions are going to be fairly similar. As I've touched on, we've got audit, we've got accounts, we've got advisory, we've got tax, and they support a variety of different clients. If we start with audit, this is the route I'd say most people tend to take in a public practice. I won't dive deep into audit and what auditors do, but in simple terms, rather than preparing the financial statements, you are effectively reviewing them and giving an opinion on whether you think they are true and fair. Now, it's obviously hard to test every single transaction as part of an audit process, which is why sampling is used. But ultimately, you're making sure the figures are accurate and compliant. Now, audit is great for people who like structure, processes, and working systematically. Those who want a broad exposure to a lot of different industries and clients, and also people comfortable working to pretty tight deadlines, particularly during the busy season. Audit gives you a really strong technical foundation in accounting, and a lot of firms where people tend to start, particularly in audit, they do actually pursue a professional qualification like the ACA here in the UK or the CPA over in the States. And the career path is very well defined in audit. There's plenty of opportunities for progression, and a lot of people also move into industry from audit. So that's a fairly common path a lot of people take. In terms of the cons, the busy season can be quite intense for some firms. And in some of the junior roles, a lot of people can consider the work fairly repetitive as you are mostly doing a lot of the ticking and bashing style work. But I'd say audit is a great start for anyone wanting to get involved in accounting. It really gives you a well-rounded view of finance, and being able to dive into the books of a variety of different clients in different industries does give you a great grounding and is also very interesting. Next up, let's look at advisory and the advisory function within a public practice. Now, advisory is effectively helping businesses make decisions. You could be supporting deals and mergers and acquisitions, helping with restructuring and corporate finance, working on valuations, or just ad hoc consulting roles. But it's definitely more problem solving and less compliance in nature. So advisory is great for people who enjoy the analysis side and the big picture thinking, and those who are wanting to be more involved with the commercial or business side of accounting without actually going ahead and working within a business. In terms of cons, it can be pretty high pressure with some of these projects having tight turnarounds. And the whole advisory space is pretty susceptible to economic conditions in a certain country or across the globe. Because if firms aren't investing, taking on these projects, there's going to be less need for advisors, so possibly less job security than a role like audit, where firms over a certain size legally require an audit. So just something to consider. But if you want to be involved with the deals, with strategy, and with more of the complex problem solving, advisory could be a great path for you. Next up, let's look at the accounts function within a public practice. This is effectively preparing a firm's year-end financial statements. But you can also do bookkeeping and tax returns, and you'll be mostly working with SMEs and owner-managed businesses who would prefer to outsource their accounts function as opposed to take it in-house like a lot of bigger firms tend to do. It's great for people who like the steady, structured work and who enjoy actually helping these SMEs and owner-managed businesses because you're really building pretty solid client relationships here rather than the one-off projects. You know, a lot of accounting clients can stay with a firm for many years and decades, I've seen. So there's definitely going to be an element of relationship building and really building trust with clients. In terms of pros, there's obviously stable and predictable work. Every firm will need to produce accounts each year, so they're either going to need to do it in-house or outsource it off to an accountant. So there's always going to be a level of demand for accountants to fulfill that work. There's also pretty good work-life balance when it comes to accounts prep, and it gives you a very strong foundation. It could possibly be seen as less glamorous than audit or advisory, and you'll likely get less exposure to the more complex corporate finance side of things that you might get in deals. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. But ultimately, if you want a stable, predictable role and enjoy working with small businesses and owner-managed businesses, the accounts function could be great for you. And now let's look at industry, and in particular, management accounting. So industry means working within a business as opposed to assisting a variety of clients like you would in practice. You could be doing things like budgeting, forecasting, and cost analysis style tasks, mostly at the month end, because a lot of firms will produce monthly or quarterly management accounts to prepare for the board. And you'll also give oversight and help to different departments within the organization, simplifying complex financial terms into understandable metrics and insights, which they can then go ahead and apply. So you're a pretty core function to a business. It's definitely more forward-looking than it is compliance. And it's great for people that enjoy working within one business and really seeing that business grow rather than working for multiple different clients. As an accountant in industry, you'll have a direct impact on those businesses' decisions. It's also likely to be less seasonal than working in a practice. In a practice, there's often busier times and more quiet times, whereas in industry, it tends to be more consistent throughout the year. In terms of cons, you only obviously see one business compared to multiple. Some people may obviously see that as a pro, but for those who like diversity and variety, it may not give you that. Progression can also heavily depend on the company, and also if the person above you leaves their job, it obviously brings an opening for you to then move into that position. There's a less clearly defined career path, I'd say, in industry, and it's very much dependent on that business, so that's something to bear in mind. But it's great if you want to shape decisions within a business and ultimately progress to senior leadership positions within that business. As a quick side note, I just want to mention the Future Proof Accountant newsletter, which I've recently launched. It's a free newsletter where I just share tips and insights on the accounting profession and help you build the skills to future-proof your career. So if you're interested in joining, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So which path should you choose in accounting? Well, I think there's one key question you need to ask yourself, and that's, do you enjoy the variety of helping multiple different clients, or would you rather focus on one business and really progressing within one business? Obviously, if the answer is diversity and multiple clients, and a practice may be better suited for you. But if you'd rather obviously progress in one business and really become a master of that one area, then industry could be the right choice for you. Then from there, you can ask yourself questions like, do I enjoy the problem solving and strategic work? If so, perhaps advisory is for you. Do you want a solid technical foundation? Maybe audits for you. Do you enjoy helping SMEs and owner-managed businesses and really building long-term relationships? Then maybe the accounts functions for you. There obviously isn't a right answer, and it's very dependent on you and the career that you want to have ultimately. But whatever route you choose, just remember that accounting opens doors, and regardless of the route you choose, there's always a level of flexibility to pivot to another area, so you're never stuck and married to one particular function. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.